This is Life for You, the first TV magazine in Second Life, with Kira Singh and Christoph Broom.
Hello everyone and welcome to Life for You.
Hey, all you Second Lifers out there. It's all about being informed, having fun, and making money, right? Virtual life, real profit. The stunning story about what happened at a recent SL Business Expo and why our news director had to admit he was wrong. Old Egypt in Manhattan. A replica of an ancient Egyptian temple has opened in virtual New York, of all places. We'll show you if it's worth a visit. Move yourself. The complete story about a fascinating new technology. Steer your avatar with your real-life body. It works!
There's a lot more economic success in SL than the mainstream media would have you think. Heck, after researching the matter further, even leading virtual journalist Draxter Dupre had to admit that he'd got it wrong when he recently asserted that non-profits were the only ones gaining ground in SL.
Indeed. A recent business expo with the creme de la creme of real-life business and a conference in Washington with big DoD contractors footing the bill are evidence that SL is doing much better in terms of profit-making these days. Draxter's here to tell us more.
Just when some viewers gathered from my last report that I deemed Second Life not ripe for companies with their eye on the ROI, this last April weekend seemed to prove that perception wrong. Two very different events focused on showcasing SL's strengths for facilitating business. The V-Expo, put on by Clever Zebra, delivered 5 days of lectures and entertainment featuring speakers from Sun, O'Reilly Media, and K0, as well as many educators. V-Expo was aimed at the curious business newbie who might be turned off by talk of a corporate exodus. David Fennick of staffing agency Kelly Services held the keynote address on opening day.
If you're sitting in the audience and you're wondering, should we get into this? What I would say is get in the pool now. Learn how to swim now while you still have the opportunity to be in a shallow end, or while there's still a shallow end that even exists.
Another event substantially lower on the public's radar took place in a nondescript office building on the outskirts of the main grid. The Federal Consortium of Virtual Worlds met for 2 days in SL and at the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. And although my colleagues Rita King and Josh Fouts were on one panel,
all aspects of government have a role in this globally interconnected world that we live in today in facilitating cultural dialogue.
I had no luck with getting the Washington Times to open up before my virtual microphone. These people are tight-lipped, even the Lindens attending. Except for a short mixed reality relay between V-Expo's Nick Wilson and the panelists in DC, one had to speculate as to the reasons why SL is of interest to our beloved bureaucrats. On Clever Zebra, meanwhile, Communications Director Jen Hinrichs is more than willing to share her sense of how businesses are doing in SL today.
The companies that are here and are doing it right, they're having success. There isn't a lot of press about them because they're happily going about doing their business. They don't feel the need to broadcast a bunch about it because they're busy doing the things that they're there to do.
Longtime resident Fleet Took from the University of Cincinnati in Ohio was at the event as well. She was delighted by the mix of business and educational speakers.
We often have many of the same goals. When one side or the other finds something that's useful or does an experiment even that fails, we can learn from each other. Both the business community and the education community is saying, how can we take virtual world technology and use it to improve what's happening in the real world?
I couldn't have said it better. While listening to the lag-induced beats of the virtual live band, I felt deeply for the many entrepreneurs whose heads must be spinning after a weekend filled with so much information. So why not take a cue from two recent headlines? Yes, common sense tells us that such behavior would be unwise, but the German portal web.de reminds us with the following headline, roughly translated as "Reason arrives after the hype is over, calmness in Second Life." So let's sip some virtual tea and take a breather. The rest of the world is arguing over HD radio and the switch to digital TV in 2009, for God's sake.
I heard about it, but I'm not really familiar about it.
Let's face it, we are way ahead of the curve. For Life for You News, I'm Draxter Dupre.
Thanks for that, Dragster.
And here's Alwyn Garrigus with the news in brief.
Presented by SL Insight, the Second Life portal.
A new temple to the gods in SL. At New York Harbor, visitors can step back in time at the newly opened Temple of Amun. The building is a recreation of the real Amun Temple, which was built over 3 centuries ago and stands just north of Luxor City in Egypt. Every Saturday at 7 a.m., all are invited on a free tour of the temple, led by a real-life Egyptologist. Go on a virtual archaeological trip back to the time of the pharaohs.
Welcome to Art Hole. The work of Nebulosa Severine and Arahan Clavo have found a home on the Cress Sim, the Art Hole. Both artists have been working in SL for over 2.5 years and recently decided to open their own gallery for unique SL art. The exhibition is divided into 3 different levels, so don't forget to set your sun right. The showroom contains 3-dimensional and interactive art and also has space for small temporary exhibits. The Art Hole, it's definitely worth a unique visit.
Art in Paradise. Ask a number of residents for their top 10 favorite places in SL, and the Wales area is likely to pop up in a number of them. The landscape is beautifully crafted with mountains, streams, castles, lots of trees, and surprises around almost every corner. The Welsh Bay Gallery contains works of art collected over the years by sim owner Alexander Vargas. Fly to Wales and experience inspirational moments all over the sim.
SL Love Story. Love Story is the title chosen by Elrose Tuominen for his new installation on Denso Heights. I'm just a silly mind trying to paint the air with pixels and make music with no sound, says the artist. In his work, Elrose gives shape and life to his own feelings and seeks to trigger the same expression in the viewer. You can find further Tuominen pieces such as Butterflies Through Speed of Light on Russian Archipelago, sculptures on Denso Heights, impressions with that special something.
Thanks, Alwyn.